Have you ever felt like a passenger in your own life, with your emotions gripping the wheel, steering you wildly through highs and lows? Anger flares up, anxiety creeps in, and before you know it, your actions are no longer your own. They belong to your emotions. You are not alone. In a world filled with uncertainty and chaos, it's easy to be overwhelmed, to feel as though life is happening to you rather than through you. But what if you could shift this dynamic? What if you could reclaim control? Enter Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that has guided some of the most resilient minds in history, emperors, soldiers, and ordinary people alike, towards unshakable emotional resilience. It offers a promise, a life where external events no longer dictate your internal state, where you face challenges not with panic, but with calm resolve. Imagine confronting life's most daunting moments with a steady heart and a clear mind. Is such mastery possible? The answer is yes, and the path is simple, though not easy. Today, we'll explore 10 transformative Stoic principles that will teach you how to control your emotions even in the face of life's storms. These rules are not abstract theories, they are practical, actionable strategies that you can start applying right now. And if you stay until the end, you'll uncover the ultimate Stoic mindset, one that transforms adversity itself into a tool for growth. Ready to take the reins of your life? Let's dive in. Rule 1. Understand what's within your control. Imagine this. You're stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. Your hands grip the steering wheel tightly, your heart pounds, and frustration simmers beneath the surface. You curse the cars ahead, the clock on your dashboard, even the universe itself for conspiring against you. But let me ask you, will your anger make the traffic move any faster? Will it magically teleport you to your destination? Of course not. So why do we let ourselves spiral into such states of emotional turmoil over things we cannot change? This is where the first and perhaps most foundational rule of Stoicism comes into play. Understanding what is within your control and what is not. The Stoics taught that much of our suffering arises from misplacing our focus. We fret over external events, things like traffic, the weather, or other people's actions, believing on some level that we can control them. But the truth is, these things are entirely outside our sphere of influence. What then is within our control? Only our own thoughts, actions, and attitudes. Consider this. Life is like a game of cards. You don't get to choose the hand you're dealt, but you always have a say in how you play those cards. When you focus on what you can control, you become a master strategist, navigating life with clarity and purpose. Doesn't that sound empowering? But how do you begin this shift in perspective? Start small. Make a list of things you can control and things you cannot. For instance, you can control your effort, your words, your perspective. You cannot control other people's opinions, the outcome of a job interview, or whether it rains tomorrow. By clearly delineating between the two, you free yourself from the exhausting, fruitless pursuit of controlling the uncontrollable. Take this idea into your daily life. Let's say you're preparing for a presentation at work. You can't control how your boss will react, nor can you dictate how attentive your colleagues will be. But you can control how well you prepare, your confidence, and the clarity of your delivery. By focusing on these elements, you maximize your potential for success while maintaining your inner peace, regardless of the outcome. But this rule isn't just about external success. Its true power lies in the peace it brings. When you let go of the futile effort to control everything around you, you liberate yourself from unnecessary emotional turmoil. Imagine the serenity of accepting things as they are, while still taking decisive action on what you can change. It's not about resignation, it's about directing your energy where it truly matters. As Epictetus, a renowned Stoic philosopher, wisely observed, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By internalizing this rule, you not only navigate life more effectively, but you also cultivate a deep well of emotional resilience. You become unshakable, not because life ceases to challenge you, but because you've mastered the art of responding wisely. Are you ready to let go of the uncontrollable and focus on what truly matters? If so, you've already taken the first step towards reclaiming your emotional freedom. And this is just the beginning. Next, we'll delve into the practice of self-awareness, a powerful tool for understanding the inner workings of your mind and emotions. Trust me, this is where the real magic begins. Rule 2. Practice self-awareness. Picture this. You're in the middle of a heated argument with a loved one. Your pulse quickens, your face flushes, and words you might later regret are on the tip of your tongue. In moments like these, how often do you feel swept away by your emotions, as if you're a mere spectator to your own behavior? Now, imagine hitting the pause button. Instead of reacting impulsively, you step back and observe your thoughts and feelings. You notice that beneath your anger there's fear, or perhaps a deep sense of hurt. This moment of clarity is the power of self-awareness, a cornerstone of emotional mastery in Stoicism. The Stoics understood that true control over our emotions begins with understanding them. How can you master what you don't recognize? Self-awareness allows us to become observers of our own minds, shining a light on the patterns, triggers, and beliefs that fuel our emotional responses. It's about being present enough to ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What story am I telling myself right now? But how do you cultivate self-awareness in a world filled with constant distractions? One powerful practice is mindfulness meditation. Dedicate just a few minutes each day to sitting quietly, focusing on your breath and observing your thoughts without judgment. Each time your mind wanders, which it inevitably will, gently bring your focus back to the present. Over time, this simple practice strengthens your ability to notice your thoughts and emotions as they arise, creating space between stimulus and response. Another tool is journaling. Set aside time each day to reflect on your experiences, noting what triggered strong emotional reactions and why. What patterns do you see? Are there recurring themes? This process not only helps you understand your emotional landscape, but also provides valuable insights for future growth. As you journal, consider asking yourself questions like, what did I learn about myself today? What could I have done differently? Let's consider a real-world example. Suppose you have a coworker who frequently takes credit for your ideas. Each time it happens, you feel a surge of resentment. But by practicing self-awareness, you might uncover a deeper feeling of being undervalued. With this insight, you're no longer blindly reacting to your coworker's behavior. Instead, you can address the core issue, perhaps by having an open conversation or seeking recognition in other ways. Self-awareness isn't just about managing negative emotions. It also helps you amplify positive ones. When you recognize the thoughts and actions that bring you joy or fulfillment, you can intentionally cultivate more of them in your life. This deliberate approach aligns beautifully with the Stoic principle of living according to reason and virtue. Of course, self-awareness requires courage. It asks you to confront uncomfortable truths about yourself, to acknowledge the parts of you that might need change or growth. But as the Stoics remind us, growth often comes through discomfort. By embracing this practice, you take an essential step toward emotional resilience and a more intentional life. So, are you ready to start observing your inner world? Share your thoughts in the comments below. What situations do you find most challenging when it comes to self-awareness? And if you've found mindfulness or journaling helpful, let us know how they've impacted your emotional growth. Don't forget to like this video if you're gaining value from these Stoic insights. and subscribe to join us on this journey of mastering your emotions. Together, we can build a community rooted in wisdom and resilience. Rule 3. Reframe negative experiences. Have you ever had one of those days where everything seems to go wrong? You spill coffee on your shirt, miss an important deadline, and to top it off, your car breaks down on the way home. It's easy to feel as though the universe is conspiring against you, to spiral into frustration and self-pity. But what if I told you that these moments of adversity are not as bleak as they seem? In fact, what if they could be opportunities in disguise? This is the essence of the Stoic practice of reframing negative experiences. The Stoics believed that events themselves are neutral. It is our interpretation of them that determines whether we suffer. Think about that for a moment. The coffee spill, the missed deadline, the car trouble. None of these inherently cause suffering. It is only when we attach narratives like, "Why does this always happen to me?" or "I'm so unlucky," that the weight of negativity sets in. Instead, Stoicism invites us to pause and ask a powerful question. How can I view this differently? Suppose you reframe these setbacks. The spilled coffee becomes a reminder to slow down and be more mindful. The missed deadline highlights areas where you can improve your time management skills. The car breaking down offers a chance to practice patience and problem solving. By shifting your perspective, you transform obstacles into opportunities for growth. Consider a more profound example: the end of a significant relationship. It's natural to feel heartache, anger, or even despair. But through the Stoic lens, this painful experience can be reframed as a chance to learn about yourself, to grow stronger, and to open the door to a future relationship that aligns more deeply with your values. As Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This principle applies not only to personal struggles, but also to larger, life-altering challenges. Imagine losing your job. The initial reaction might be fear and frustration. However, by reframing the situation, you might see it as an opportunity to reassess your career path, to explore new passions, or to develop skills that you previously overlooked. Such a perspective doesn't diminish the difficulty of the experience, but empowers you to navigate it with resilience and purpose. Reframing isn't about denying reality or sugarcoating hardship. It's about recognizing that while you can't always control external events, you can control the meaning you assign to them. This practice builds a mental flexibility that allows you to adapt and thrive even in the face of adversity. It's a skill that, like any other, strengthens with practice. The next time you encounter a setback, pause and ask yourself, what lesson can I draw from this? How can I use this experience to grow? This simple shift in mindset can make all the difference, turning life's inevitable challenges into stepping stones on your path to wisdom and inner strength. And as we move forward, consider how this reframing aligns with the broader Stoic framework. It's not merely about enduring hardships, but about actively embracing them as part of life's grand design. In the next rule, we'll delve into the importance of building mental fortitude, a trait that allows you to face even the toughest challenges with unyielding strength. Stay with me as we explore how to cultivate this powerful mindset. Rule 4. Build mental fortitude. Imagine preparing for a marathon. On the first day, you wouldn't expect to run the full 26.2 miles without effort or strain. Instead, you'd start with shorter distances, gradually increasing your endurance over weeks or months. Building mental fortitude works in much the same way. It's a process of training your mind to endure life's inevitable difficulties with strength and resilience. The Stoics believed that life, much like a marathon, is filled with challenges, loss, failure, disappointment, and even tragedy. These are not anomalies to be avoided, but essential components of the human experience. The question then is not whether you will face hardships, but how you will respond when they come. Will you crumble under their weight, or will you stand firm, using them as opportunities to develop your inner strength? One powerful Stoic practice for building mental fortitude is voluntary discomfort. This involves deliberately exposing yourself to challenges and discomforts in controlled settings to prepare for the unexpected trials of life. For example, you might take a cold shower in the morning, fast for a day, or engage in a task that pushes you out of your comfort zone, like public speaking. These practices may seem trivial, but they serve an important purpose. They teach you that discomfort is not something to be feared. Over time, you become more comfortable with discomfort, building the resilience to face greater challenges with calm and composure. Another technique is negative visualization, where you imagine the worst-case scenario and mentally rehearse how you would handle it. This practice, far from being pessimistic, actually reduces anxiety by helping you realize that even the most difficult situations are within your capacity to endure. Imagine losing your job. Initially, this might seem catastrophic, but by visualizing this scenario, you might recognize that you possess skills and a support network that can help you navigate such a challenge. You prepare yourself emotionally and mentally, so if the situation arises, it won't feel as overwhelming. But mental fortitude isn't built solely through these practices. It also requires a growth mindset. The Stoics emphasized that failure and adversity are not reflections of your inherent worth, but opportunities to learn and grow. When faced with a setback, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to improve? This perspective transforms failures into valuable lessons, reinforcing your ability to persevere through future challenges. Consider the story of a craftsman. Each time they encounter a flaw in their work, a cracked pot, a warped piece of wood, they learn something new about their materials and techniques. With each mistake, their craft improves, and their creations become more refined. Life operates similarly. Each challenge you face is a chance to refine your character, to grow stronger and wiser. Of course, building mental fortitude is a lifelong endeavor. There will be moments when you falter, when the weight of life's challenges feels unbearable. In those moments, remember the Stoic teaching that strength is developed through trials, much like a gem is polished through friction. As Seneca wisely said, a gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. As you continue to cultivate mental fortitude, you'll find yourself better equipped to handle whatever life throws your way. This strength doesn't mean you'll be free from pain or hardship. Rather, it means you'll have the inner resources to face them with courage and equanimity. Next, we'll explore another crucial aspect of emotional resilience: self-discipline. While mental fortitude helps you endure external challenges, self-discipline empowers you to master your internal world, aligning your actions with your values and long-term goals. Let's dive into this essential Stoic principle. Rule 5. Develop self-discipline. Imagine setting a lofty goal, perhaps training for a fitness challenge, writing a book, or advancing in your career. You feel motivated and energized at first, but as days turn into weeks, distractions start creeping in. Social media notifications, the allure of your favorite TV show, or even the tempting promise of a short break derail your progress. Before you know it, the goal feels distant and frustration sets in. Why does this happen? The answer lies in the absence of self-discipline. For the Stoics, self-discipline was not merely a tool for achieving external success, it was a way of life. They understood that true freedom comes from mastery over one's impulses and desires. Without self-discipline, we become slaves to fleeting pleasures and distractions, constantly pulled away from what truly matters. But with it, we gain the power to align our actions with our values and long-term goals. Developing self-discipline is like strengthening a muscle. It requires consistent practice and deliberate effort. Start small. Set achievable goals, like dedicating 30 minutes each day to focused work, or resisting the urge to check your phone during meals. Over time, these small victories build a foundation for tackling larger challenges. Each disciplined choice reinforces your ability to stay committed, even when motivation wanes. Another key to cultivating self-discipline is to reframe your mindset around effort. Often, we associate discipline with deprivation or restriction. But what if you viewed it as an act of self-respect? Every time you choose discipline, you affirm your commitment to your own growth and well-being. As Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly. Each step, no matter how small, moves you closer to becoming the person you aspire to be." Consider a simple yet powerful example: maintaining a healthy lifestyle. It's easy to skip workouts or indulge in unhealthy eating, especially when comfort and convenience beckon. But every disciplined choice to exercise or eat mindfully is a vote for your long-term health. Over time, these choices compound, transforming your habits and, ultimately, your life. Of course, discipline isn't about perfection. There will be moments when you slip, when you give in to temptation or lose focus. In those moments, remember that discipline isn't about never falling. It's about getting back up. Reflect on what led to the lapse, learn from it, and recommit to your path. This resilience is what truly sets disciplined individuals apart. So, what steps will you take today to strengthen your self-discipline? Share your thoughts in the comments. What's one area of your life where you want to build more discipline? And if this resonates with you, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more Stoic strategies to master your emotions and live intentionally. Together, we're building a community of resilient, focused individuals committed to growth and self-mastery. Rule 6. Practice acceptance. Imagine pouring your heart and soul into a project at work, only to find that when the time comes for recognition, someone else receives the praise or promotion. The initial wave of disappointment is natural, even expected. You might feel frustration, resentment, or a sense of injustice. But what if, instead of clinging to these emotions, you chose to accept the outcome as it is? This is the essence of Stoic acceptance. For the Stoics, acceptance doesn't mean passively resigning to life's hardships or giving up on goals. Instead, it's about acknowledging reality, embracing life as it unfolds, rather than resisting it with wishes for a different outcome. It's the wisdom of knowing the difference between what can and cannot be changed. When we resist reality, we expend energy fighting against what already is. This resistance often manifests as stress, anger, or sorrow. But when we practice acceptance, we free ourselves from this struggle. We find peace in the present, not because we approve of every event, but because we recognize that railing against reality serves no purpose. Take, for instance, the inevitability of change. Relationships shift, careers take unexpected turns, health fluctuates. The Stoics remind us that impermanence is a fundamental part of life. By embracing this truth, we can learn to appreciate the present without clinging to it or fearing its loss. Acceptance of impermanence transforms our perspective, allowing us to face life's transitions with grace. Acceptance also applies to our interactions with others. We often wish we could change how people behave, seeking their approval, longing for them to act in ways that align with our expectations. But these desires are beyond our control. The Stoics encourage us to focus instead on our own behavior. Are we acting with integrity and kindness? Are we staying true to our principles? In doing so, we shift our focus inward, where our power truly lies. One of the most profound practices in Stoicism is amor fati, or the love of fate. This doesn't mean passively welcoming all experiences, but rather embracing life in its entirety, the good, the bad, and the unexpected. Imagine seeing every challenge, every setback as a necessary thread in the tapestry of your life. How would that change your perspective? Could you find beauty even in difficulty, knowing it plays a part in your growth? Consider a painful breakup, Acceptance doesn't mean ignoring the hurt or pretending it doesn't matter. Instead, it involves acknowledging the pain while also recognizing that the relationship has run its course. In this space of acceptance, you find the strength to heal, to learn, and to move forward. You stop clinging to the past or trying to rewrite it in your mind, freeing yourself to embrace new experiences and opportunities. This practice of acceptance requires humility, a recognition that we are not all-powerful and that life often unfolds in ways beyond our control. But within this humility lies great strength. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Through acceptance, we cultivate emotional resilience. We learn to face life's uncertainties without fear, to adapt to its changes without resistance, and to navigate its challenges with a sense of inner peace. Acceptance doesn't strip life of its intensity. Rather, it allows us to engage fully with reality, unburdened by the weight of what should have been. With this foundation of acceptance in place, we turn next to the Stoic principle of rational thinking, a tool that helps us respond to life's challenges with clarity and wisdom. Let's explore how cultivating a rational mind can deepen your emotional resilience. Rule 7. Cultivate rational thinking. Have you ever found yourself awake in the dead of night, your mind racing with worst-case scenarios? Perhaps a minor ache convinces you it's something serious, or an upcoming presentation leaves you imagining public humiliation. These spiraling thoughts are familiar to all of us, but they stem not from reality, but from the stories we tell ourselves. The Stoics knew this well and emphasized the importance of cultivating rational thinking to navigate life's challenges with wisdom and clarity. At its core, rational thinking is the practice of questioning the narratives that fuel our emotions. Emotions often arise not from events themselves, but from our interpretation of those events. A missed deadline, for instance, doesn't inherently carry anxiety. It's the thought "I've failed, and now everything will fall apart" that triggers emotional distress. But is this thought true, or is it an exaggeration, a distortion fueled by fear? The Stoics invite us to step back and examine these interpretations. When faced with distressing thoughts, ask yourself, what evidence supports this? Is there another way to view the situation? This process, known today as cognitive reframing, helps replace irrational fears with more balanced, realistic perspectives. Consider the technique of premeditation of evils. This Stoic exercise involves imagining potential challenges or setbacks and reflecting on how you would cope. By doing this, you confront your fears head-on and prepare your mind for adversity. Suppose you're anxious about a job interview. Through premeditation, you might envision scenarios where you stumble over an answer or encounter unexpected questions. Instead of spiraling into panic, you then consider how you would handle these moments, perhaps by pausing, taking a breath, and refocusing. Through this practice, you'll often realize that even the worst outcomes are manageable. The act of mentally rehearsing adversity demystifies it, stripping away its power to paralyze you. In time, this builds confidence and reduces the grip of anxiety over imagined scenarios. Another facet of rational thinking is learning to recognize and challenge cognitive distortions. Common distortions include catastrophizing, assuming the worst possible outcome, and personalization, believing events revolve around you. When you catch yourself falling into these patterns, pause and ask, is this thought logical? What might a more objective perspective look like? By engaging your rational mind, you weaken the hold of irrational fears and gain a clearer view of reality. The Stoics also remind us that not every thought warrants our attention. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Just because a thought arises doesn't mean you must accept it as truth. Practice observing your thoughts as they come and go, choosing to engage only with those that serve your growth and well-being. Rational thinking, however, doesn't mean suppressing emotions or ignoring their value. Emotions can offer important insights about our needs, values, and desires. The Stoic goal is not to eliminate emotions, but to ensure they are guided by reason. When emotions arise, examine them with curiosity rather than judgment. Ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to tell me? How can I respond in a way that aligns with my principles? Ultimately, cultivating rational thinking empowers you to navigate life with clarity and composure. By grounding your responses in reason rather than impulse, you become less swayed by external events and more anchored in your inner strength. Next, we'll explore the importance of staying grounded in the present moment. While rational thinking helps us manage our thoughts about the future, being present allows us to fully engage with life as it unfolds. Let's delve into this transformative practice. Rule 8. Focus on the present moment. Picture this. You're walking through a serene park. The sun is warm on your skin, the sound of birds fills the air, and a gentle breeze rustles the leaves. But instead of enjoying this peaceful moment, your mind is elsewhere. You're replaying yesterday's argument with a friend or worrying about a presentation next week. The beauty of the present slips away, overshadowed by thoughts of the past and future. Sound familiar? The Stoics understood the power of the present moment. They taught that the only time we truly possess is the now. The past is gone, and the future is uncertain. By anchoring ourselves in the present, we free our minds from the burden of regret and anxiety, opening the door to a richer, more fulfilling life. Why is this so important? Because life happens in the present. When we dwell on the past or fret about the future, we miss out on the joy, peace, and clarity available in each moment. Consider how much time you spend ruminating on things you cannot change or worrying about events that may never happen. What if, instead, you focused fully on the task, conversation, or experience at hand? How might your perspective shift? One of the most effective tools for cultivating presence is mindfulness. This practice involves bringing your full attention to the here and now, often by focusing on your breath, sensations, or surroundings. When your mind inevitably wanders, gently guide it back to the present. Over time, mindfulness strengthens your ability to stay engaged, helping you break free from the mental chatter that pulls you away from the moment. Another way to practice presence is by fully immersing yourself in your daily activities. Whether you're eating, working, or spending time with loved ones, aim to be fully present. Notice the details, the taste of your food, the texture of your work materials, the nuances in a friend's voice. By doing so, you enrich your experiences and deepen your connection to life. But being present isn't always easy, especially when the present moment is challenging. In those times, the Stoics remind us to find gratitude. Even in discomfort or difficulty, there are things to appreciate, a lesson to be learned, a strength to be built, or simply the resilience to endure. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's available, grounding you in the abundance of the present. The practice of memento mori, or remembering your mortality, also enhances your appreciation for the present. When you reflect on the fleeting nature of life, you're reminded to cherish each moment, to live fully and intentionally. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." So, how often do you find yourself pulled away from the present? What strategies help you stay grounded? Share your experiences in the comments. Let's learn from each other's journeys. If you're finding these Stoic principles insightful, give this video a like and consider subscribing for more wisdom on living a purposeful, resilient life. Together, we can cultivate a deeper connection to the now and unlock the peace it holds. Rule 9. Practice self-compassion. How often do you criticize yourself for mistakes or shortcomings? When things go wrong, are you quick to judge yourself harshly, replaying every misstep in your mind? Many of us treat ourselves with a level of scrutiny and harshness we would never impose on a friend. But why do we reserve our kindness and understanding for others, leaving ourselves to endure the weight of self-criticism alone. The Stoics, though often associated with discipline and self-control, also recognized the importance of treating oneself with compassion. They understood that growth and resilience stem not from relentless self-reproach, but from a balanced approach that acknowledges both our flaws and our intrinsic worth. Practicing self-compassion begins with recognizing our shared humanity. To be human is to err, to stumble, and to face setbacks. These experiences are not signs of failure, but part of life's natural ebb and flow. When you make a mistake, remind yourself, this is part of being human. Everyone makes mistakes. Such a mindset shifts the focus from self-condemnation to self-understanding. One powerful tool for cultivating self-compassion is self-talk. Pay attention to the way you speak to yourself, especially during difficult moments. Would you speak to a friend in the same harsh, critical tone? If not, why should you treat yourself differently? Replace self-criticism with words of encouragement and support. Instead of saying, "I'm so terrible at this," try, "I'm learning, and every step, no matter how small, brings me closer to where I want to be." Another practice is to embrace imperfection. The Stoics remind us that striving for perfection is futile because the world, and by extension, we ourselves, are inherently imperfect. What matters is not achieving an impossible standard, but consistently striving to do our best. Seneca wisely noted, "There is no easy way from the earth to the stars." The journey of growth is marked by trial and error, and that is where progress lies. Consider how self-compassion can transform moments of failure. Imagine you've missed an important deadline. Instead of spiraling into thoughts of inadequacy, you acknowledge the mistake, reflect on what led to it, and determine how to prevent it in the future. This approach not only preserves your emotional well-being, but also fosters a mindset of continuous improvement. Self-compassion also plays a crucial role in resilience. Life will inevitably bring challenges, losses, disappointments, and uncertainties. In these moments, being kind to yourself is not a sign of weakness, but a source of strength. It allows you to recover more quickly, to approach difficulties with a clear mind and an open heart. Finally, remember that self-compassion is a practice, not a destination. There will be times when old patterns of self-criticism resurface. When this happens, gently remind yourself of your commitment to kindness. Like any skill, self-compassion grows with time and practice. By nurturing this sense of compassion within yourself, you create a foundation of inner strength and peace. This enables you not only to navigate life's challenges with grace, but also to extend genuine compassion to others. As you cultivate self-compassion, you'll find that it enhances every aspect of your emotional resilience and personal growth. In the next and final rule, we'll explore how embracing adversity, the very challenges we often fear, can become the ultimate tool for growth and fulfillment. Let's uncover how this Stoic principle completes the journey toward mastering your emotions. Rule 10. Embrace adversity. Adversity. It's a word that often stirs discomfort, evoking memories of hardship, struggle, and pain. Yet, what if you could shift your perspective and see adversity not as an enemy, but as a vital teacher? The Stoics believed that life's challenges are not obstacles to be avoided, but opportunities to be embraced. In fact, they argued that it is through adversity that we forge our character and unlock our greatest potential. Consider this. Every significant growth you've experienced likely came on the heels of a challenge. A difficult exam pushed you to study harder. A failed project taught you resilience, or a personal loss deepened your empathy. These experiences, while painful in the moment, shaped you into who you are today. The Stoics invite us to actively seek this perspective in every hardship. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they urge us to ask, "What can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger?" One of the most powerful Stoic concepts tied to this principle is amor fati, or the love of fate. It encourages us to embrace all of life's experiences, not just the pleasant ones. To love your fate means to accept every moment as necessary and valuable, even if it brings discomfort or sorrow. This isn't about passive resignation. It's about recognizing that life's trials often carry hidden gifts, lessons that shape your character and strengthen your resolve. Imagine facing the loss of a job. At first, it feels devastating, a blow to your confidence and security. But through the lens of amor fati, this event becomes an opportunity. Perhaps it pushes you to explore a new career path that aligns more closely with your passions or teaches you the value of adaptability. The same principle applies to personal hardships, from health challenges to the end of a relationship. Each difficulty, when embraced, can serve as a stepping stone toward growth. The Stoics didn't just accept adversity, they welcomed it as a proving ground for their virtues. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the obstacles you face are not barriers, they are the path itself. Every challenge is an invitation to cultivate courage, patience, and wisdom. But how do we practically apply this mindset? Start by reframing your relationship with discomfort. When you encounter adversity, pause and ask, what virtue is this moment calling me to develop? If you're facing conflict, it might be an opportunity to practice patience or empathy. If you're dealing with failure, it could be a chance to cultivate resilience or humility. Next, prepare yourself through voluntary discomfort, a practice we touched on earlier. By deliberately seeking small challenges, whether it's fasting, taking cold showers, or stepping out of your comfort zone in social settings, you train your mind to endure discomfort with composure. This practice builds a reserve of strength, so when life throws unexpected challenges your way, you're ready. Adversity also teaches us the value of perspective. What seems insurmountable today may appear trivial in hindsight. Reflect on past challenges you've overcome. How did they shape you? What strengths did they reveal? Use these reflections as a reminder that you have the capacity to endure and grow through whatever life presents. Lastly, remember that embracing adversity is not about denying pain or forcing positivity. It's about acknowledging the reality of hardship while choosing to focus on its potential for growth. It's about finding purpose in struggle and meaning in the journey. As we conclude this exploration of Stoic principles, consider how each of these rules, understanding control, practicing self-awareness, reframing experiences, and now embracing adversity, forms a cohesive framework for mastering your emotions and navigating life's challenges. Adversity is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of transformation. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the wisdom of Stoicism. If these principles resonate with you, take a moment to reflect on how you might apply them in your own life. Life is a constant teacher, and with the right mindset, every experience becomes a lesson worth embracing. May you find strength, peace, and purpose on your path.